Good afternoon, everyone. Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 28th of January 2023. US shootings back to back. Zahawi backed by Sunak. Now the ethics advisor will decide on the sack. Hunt trying to get on track, and trouble for the dad of Novak. In California, 2 mass shootings back to back. 18 left dead in the unrelated attacks. A work grievance on a mushroom farmstead caused Monday's gun rampage that left 7 dead. 400 miles south and 2 days before, bullets were sprayed into people on a dance floor. 11 died celebrating the Lunar New Year. The gunman killed himself, his motive unclear. As the annual tax returns in the UK are due, Rishi kept returning to a taxation issue. Not his own dealings with the Inland Revenue, but a cabinet member in a taxing to-do. Last year it was his wife's non-dom tax status that provided grist for the political agitators. This week a storm over Zahawi's tax affairs, and something to do with some gifted family shares, had the PM starting to swerve and sway as the issue simply would not go away. He started by saying that he was assured the Tory chairman's tax business was all above board. Most weren't convinced, so Sunak tried to impress that it happened under Truss's watch. They weren't impressed. Sunak hired Zahawi as the party chair. Surely at that point the matter was declared, but the PM insisted, "I didn't know at the time that Nadeem had paid a tax fine." So that's fine. You think that's fine, PM? You must be insane. Experts in this field were quick to explain. A tax penalty will never be imposed if it's a genuine error that's been exposed. So we are all left with nothing to suppose except that something was deliberately undisclosed. Does Mr. Zahawi have something to hide? All right, my ethics guy will decide, Rishi sighed. In the Commons on Wednesday, a smattering of scorn from Sakir that turned into a battering. He accused the PM of being too weak as this fishy Tory sleaze started to reek. When broken down, the defence breaks up, a story that, in fact, would be hard to make up. The £5 million settlement that Zahawi made for some tax and a fine not being paid happened when he was in his Chancellor role, when the Inland Revenue was in his control. From Zahawi we had Kwasi and now Jeremy Hunt. On Friday the current Chancellor was being upfront. At Bloomsburg headquarters on a platform he stood and gave a keynote speech saying, "Ease are good." He focused on economy and education and employment everywhere across our nation. He asked for there to be more risk takers. We need more entrepreneurs and money makers. More people should get themselves off the dole. Tax cuts would come when inflation's under control. Critics said that his 4 E's were missing more E's. The ejection and eradication of the Tories. From autumn's gloom he tried to be upbeat, with next year looking like a Tory defeat. But content was low if rhetoric was plenty. So his speech generally received an E for empty. On Wednesday, a turn-up for the books. For Amazon's reputation, not a good look. their Coventry warehouse workers came out on strike. Saying warehouse, a Victorian workhouse more like. The GMB union had the strike authorised, though Amazon say for them unions aren't recognised. Well, let me tell you, Jeff, unions are that lot who want you to understand workers aren't robots. They are human beings at the end of the day and need decent conditions and reasonable pay. Underdogs are something at which we Brits marvel. Not Aberdeen fans after Monday's trip to Darvel. From the west of Scotland Premier Division, Darvel was 6 tiers below their opposition. Don's fans were in tears with this Scottish Cup outcome. Many of them left simply thinking, how come? How come Jordan Kirkpatrick was able to score while their team couldn't hit the proverbial barn door? How come Jim Goodwin, with this bad loss, wasn't terminated as the Aberdeen boss? 5 days later, though, he did get the sack. A 6-0 loss to Hibs meant there was no way back. Finally, to Ukraine and some sort of good news. Germany were persuaded not to refuse their elite tanks by other countries to be used. So in Ukraine the Leopard 2s will now be let loose. The German battle won, so the West again has won, supporting Ukraine's army until it has won. But as always, there's bad news to report on this war. This week we learnt Chris Parry and Andrew Bagshaw, the 2 British aid workers missing for some time, were confirmed dead from the Solidar front line. They were helping an old lady out of the hellscape, but a shell hit their cars and there was no escape. Putin sadly attracts high-profile support, like the father of one of the current icons of sport. Srdjan Djokovic, who is Novak's father, got the Australian Open into a bit of a lather. On Wednesday he was photographed with Putin fans with a Russian flag that organisers had banned. Srdjan asked us to not misunderstand. It wasn't premeditated or planned. He actually thought they were Serbian fans.